All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I have a very awesome story that I want to talk with you all about today. And this is specifically focused on AI, artificial intelligence in children's toys. According to a recent news article that I was reading, it was talking about a group of advocates who want to push for AI toy safety and transparency. And we all know how this could absolutely turn out. And of course, if you looked at any of my previous videos, I always talk about cybersecurity. I talk about protecting kids, especially in the age of technology, the age that we're in right now. You know, they all got cell phones. They all have these games and devices with cameras on them, and it definitely scares me a lot. And by me bringing this message up, it's going to reach some parents out there that just don't understand. And I'll definitely share a story with you that I had with a parent when I was talking to them about the dangers that lurk around online out there. But when we take a look at this, AI is now being embedded in children's toys. And I never thought that a day in my life that I would actually begin to even think about this, because when you look at the toys that we had as kids, like the young boys having the G.I. Joes or the little girls having the Barbie dolls, you played with them locally at home. You played with them around the yard. You played your video games locally within your home. Nothing left your house. No data left your house. And now we are in an age where you even have babies that can barely walk, that got tablets and iPads in their hand. They got cameras on them, devices, got the ability to listen in. It's so much going on right now. And it's even harder for adults. But imagine kids. Think about it. If your child has a toy, they bring a toy into your house, you basically signed over the rights for a company to be able to listen to the things that are going on inside your house, because the toy has got artificial intelligence in it. So it's going to be talking back and forth to you, to your child. And you definitely don't want that. And that is why I push so hard to educate people when it comes to technology. But when you look at it on the surface, it may sound so futuristic, so innovative. But when you look at the part that's underneath the water, what you're basically doing is you basically have some serious privacy concerns that parents need to most definitely address, and they definitely need to ask as they're going through this, because they need to understand. And I want to make sure that you all are informed. Now, as we move across this landscape of this new thing that's going to be taking place that we are seeing within these toys, I want you to look at your common everyday average toy, whether it be a toy clock or it can be a race car or something. It's connected to something online, because here's the reality. The things that you need to look for, parents, before you purchase a child's toy, look to see if it has a microphone, look and see if it has a camera, look and see if it has some kind of circuit board in it that has some kind of Wi-Fi signal in it, and if any of that connects to a cloud server somewhere else. Imagine your kid who don't even pay bills yet. Imagine them bringing, or you buying them a toy and you not knowing that the data is being collected on them, their facial recognition, their voice, the images, the microphone, they're talking into it. You don't know who you just invited into your house, because here's the reality. Every single device on this planet that you can plug up, that has a camera and a microphone on it, that is connected to the internet, that data does not just sit on that device. It leaves and goes, say it on a cloud server. So for some of you parents who may not know, for example, I got something as an example here. So say, for example, you look at a Ring doorbell. I'm just going to use that for an example. Innovative. Anybody can plug and play. Anybody can plug this up. Anybody can set this up. But the moment that you connect online is the moment that you expose yourself online. So on one hand, a person can be super scared, super paranoid, and don't have any of these devices. Another person can be innovative, put these people put these in their house, kids' room, outside, and guess what? It's only when, not if, when somebody hacks this, they see everything and you're now exposed online. And these are the kind of things that is not talked about such on a deep level because everybody is focused on the innovative side rather than the privacy and control side. And that's what I want you all to know. And when a child speaks, their audio is often transmitted to external servers for processing. So, for example, if you answer the doorbell, you start talking, you're talking to that person at the door. But the moment that you start using your voice and video, this gets saved on a cloud server for their provider, stored for however long until you ask to have it deleted, if possible. And you thinking it's all safe. Maybe, maybe not. But what we know is these devices do not need to be in your kid's room. Kids walk around the house with devices all the time, phones, tablets, whatever. You do not want your kid to walk in the bathroom with something like this. And so, this consumer advocates push that they're doing for AI toy transparency, the moment that this kind of stuff makes the news, parents, it's already too late. The damage has already been done, it's already out there. However, what you can control, you may not be able to control the innovation of this, but what you can control is how these devices get into your house. You don't have to buy them. If you want to keep your kids safe, watch the devices that you bring in and put onto your network, especially if they got cameras and microphones and everything like that. And we have to take into consideration software on these devices are always listening. You can either say, hey, plus the keyword of whatever that it is. Some of you use Alexa, some of you use Siri, some of you use Google. When you say that, that device pops on and it begins to hear the audio around you. And imagine you as an adult doing that. You understand. You may have given that consent, accepted those terms and conditions. But however, a kid that's out there, a 6 or 7 year old, they don't understand. They think it's cool. But what they don't realize is there's always some crazy person that targets kids, pedophiles that's out there, get a hold of information like this, and it turns out bad. I'm telling you about the tech side because that's what you need to hear. That's what you need to understand. That's what you need to know what exists out there, parents. It may look cool. Little Johnny's brother and sister may have one up the street, and your kid may want it just because they have it. But this is real. This is a real life dangerous situation for minors. And here's the thing, I love technology. I've been in technology for decades. I'm very passionate about technology. But the moment that I began to do more and more research, I started thinking kids don't need specific type of things. Well, what does a kid need with the iPad at an early age or a phone or a tablet? What would they need that for? With all this other stuff embedded in it, camera, microphones, and everything else around it. When these devices are always listening, what you have to understand is that any device with an active microphone inside, for example, a child's bedroom, should most definitely raise privacy concerns because they shouldn't even be in the bedroom in the first place. Clocks, echo devices, cameras, toys, Nintendo Switches, Fire tablets, Fire sticks, smart TVs. What does it need to be for in the kid's room? And parents, the angle that I'm speaking to you from is from a protective technology standpoint, not as in you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that because you don't know how to run your household the way that you do. But I'm speaking from my expertise in this tech space on the things that you need to watch out for. And I hope that you really take this in. Definitely research it. Even if you don't take my word for it, research it because this is about protecting the kids and being a passionate IT person. I understand things that the general public may not always see firsthand, but just to add this for the consumer advocate group, having to ask for transparency, it may be years before they get that. But you're not, but the moment that this stuff hits the news, it's already too late. It's already out there because your information is saved up in the cloud. And see what most parents don't know, or most adults probably don't know either, is data retention is there is certain number of years that companies can keep information. And of course, a lot of times you can call, have your information removed and things like that. But if your voice and your information, which is data, data is the new currency now, that is publicly on a server somewhere up in the cloud, not the cloud in the sky, but a computer in a remote building like a data center. I've talked about data centers on the channel. The cloud is the data center. The cloud is the data center sitting somewhere out in the world, whether it be near you or across the world. But you need to ask yourself pressing questions, parents, like how is this stored? Is the data anonymized? Who has access to it? Who has the ability to secure this in the event if and when it is breached? Companies have data breaches all the time, whether you know it or not. That's just the reality is. And the more and more advanced we get in technology, the more breaches that will occur because those data breaches, this right here is where it gets very, very interesting. If your child's voice is very sensitive. The protecting your child is a very sensitive matter. And if a data breach occurs, the data cannot be changed like a password. Once that data is exposed out there, people, it is exposed out there. There are some sick people out here that target kids. You can look on my channel where I talked about Roblox and Terra Elastic Sykes, which one of the people that was arrested for a Roblox incident. I talked about that on the channel. Definitely check that out. There's more people out there that's just like her. There's more people out there that target kids. But technology is making some things very, very dangerous to kids. And this toy thing is definitely it's the start of it, but it's definitely not going to be the end of it. But a child's voice is biometric information, just like your fingerprints, thumbprints on computers. A child's voice is biometric information. How are you going to protect it, parents? See, now you begin to think about them games that your kid may be stuck in a room playing. What are they really doing? Are you checking up on them? What is next? This is a very serious matter. This video is going to reach some parent out there. And then what happens as they get more and more ingrained into tech, the behavior starts to change, the behavior profile and starts to occur because now that they got information, now ads can be targeted towards the child as they're playing these games because these systems learn how you interact with different things. And once it figures out where you are for such as like speech habits and the emotional tone that's being used over time, it builds a behavioral profile. So now the platforms know exactly how you think, how you should speak, and it's going to recommend things based on that for sure. Now, when you look at the transparency side, which you have to look at is with the consumer advocates. I don't think they're necessarily attacking innovation. What most important, what I'm thinking that they're doing is they're asking for these companies to be transparent, meaning that if you have a microphone that is listening 24/7, 365, they want the information to be published. But here is the catch. A lot of this stuff was already published in the terms and conditions that you didn't absolutely read. You didn't read any of it. The privacy notices, the terms and conditions, a lot of you have never read that. And I know it's long, people, 50, 60, 100 pages. People don't read it. And it may tell you in detail in there what it does with the data and the information. But have you ever read it? So now many of you are going to be looking at the terms and conditions. You're going to need to know what is in it to make sure that your children are not exposed and they are most definitely safe. But never would I have imagined a toy being connected to Wi-Fi and it records audio. It should be treated like any other connected device in your home, disconnected. And when your child is older and they decide they want to immerse themselves in this, that's totally on them. But while they're living under your roof, you definitely need to know what is going on out there. And parents need to know more, but reality is a lot of parents don't know tech as good as their kids. 'Cause a lot of the kids that's growing up now, they know technology better than their parents do. And so what happens is the kids get so ingrained in it that they may slip up and say something or post something they shouldn't post, and now your whole household is at risk. But what I want you to think about is parents parents deserve to know exactly what is in these devices and where it is going. And before bringing AI connected toys into your home, parents, I most definitely urge you to ask the same pressing questions about any surveillance capable device. If it's got a microphone, a camera in it, a little microchip board of some sort, what kind of surveillance capable device is this? Because I want you all to be sure that you thoroughly understand the hidden dangers that are within this. And some of you may not even care, but I bet you would care if it's your daughter or your son who's underage or nephew or niece or whatever. This is the real deal. I feel sorry for like I was talking with a parent the other week and I was telling them about Roblox, for example. I was sharing some of the stories and research that I was doing, and I asked them if their child plays it. They said, yeah. And the parent said something that really hit me and took me through a loop. The parent said that the child was receiving phone calls through their iPad while they was playing Roblox or Minecraft or one of them. And I turned around and said, what is your child doing with a phone, making and receiving phone calls? Even if they got friends on there, you don't know these people. You don't know these people, and you're having a phone conversation with them. And it was only a matter of time before that child could probably get coerced into doing something that they don't have no business doing, or sharing personal financial information to somebody that they don't know. But that's the culture that we live in right now. Everybody's moving so fast, but they are not trying to understand the privacy and risk that are associated with these toys, because a lot of times the parents just want to do their own thing and just let the toy babysit their kid. But I'm telling you right now, this this is going to go even further. More and more parents, I think, should definitely start talking about it. It is absolutely necessary. And so, people, if you don't catch anything else I discuss today on the channel, just understand that if it has a camera, a microphone, and this, and you can charge it up, it can definitely collect information from you. Would you much rather be the parent or the child? So, people, until next time, like, listen, subscribe to the channel. Lifestyle by SK with wine, cigars, and relationships. Create the tapestry of extraordinary experience. As always, you all have a good one. Stay sharp, stay secure, subscribe for more tech with purpose only on Div Tech 101.